Hello and welcome everyone once again to a brand new episode of r/ProRevenge. My name's Ryan, the official host here on the channel, and I look forward to bringing you guys today's top story. Before I do though, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button as well as make sure you got notifications turned on. That way you could stay up to date with all the latest and the greatest. Today's story is an oldie but a goodie. It's one particularly long story by You Don't Like Truth 6 years ago, and it's called Loud Neighbor vs. Short-Tempered German. I stumbled over this subreddit and immediately knew that I had a story to tell that fits perfectly in here. This was about a year ago. I had just moved into my new flat because the previous one was quite uncomfortable, as the owner and the other flatmates were generally dicks. Lots of clashes with them, and lots of lessons learned on how not to deal with people. Your usual college experience stuff, you know? Now that I had a job and money, it's time to live on my own. I move in, and all is fine for a month. But I'm exposed to loud gaming noises. I'm a gamer myself, so naturally I'm not too annoyed about this. But these game noises would normally not stop until 1 or 2 a.m., which is kind of crappy for my sleep cycle and the enjoyment of weekends. Trying to do the civil thing, I ask the neighbor to turn it down. Turns out, my neighbor's from New Zealand and doesn't speak German. Hint, this is all taking place in Germany. My English is good enough to have some chit-chat, and I try and build a friendly bond by identifying that he is either Aussie or New Zealander. He's amazed by my English and confirms to be a Kiwi. He concludes that saying that it's no problem to game quietly. Says he can do that definitely. However, there's no noticeable change in volume. Rinse and repeat, the same thing over the following week with very short conversations about the noise and nothing else. I get a bit more annoyed on a Thursday at 0030, explaining that I have a job in the morning and I'd like to be on time and well rested. To that, I simply get a, "Fuck off, you've been annoying me enough already, suck it up like a man," and he closes the door. Further attempts from me to just figure out what the fuck happened by ringing the doorbell and knocking are ignored. His dog goes apeshit at the same time. I am short-tempered. Fuck this guy. I take some duct tape and tape his doorbell button down so it constantly rings. Gotta be efficient about this. It's Germany. It's the law to be efficient. Also, gotta be smart about this. I pull my fuses for the entrance hall that supply the light and doorbell, all in preparation of that piece of tape clinging to my doorbell. I try to go to sleep, deducing that the idiot is trying to ignore the doorbell for a good 5 minutes before I hear it stop. I guess he figured out it was just tape. The next morning, I see the tape on my doorbell, but you can't get me with my own weapons, sucker. Fast forward 2 days. Gaming noises at 2300, same annoying volume. I'm pissed off and I knock on his door to no answer. By now, the neighbor on the other side has come to the hallway and asks what's going on. I tell him about the noise issues and he just confirms that it's quite normal for that guy, but he can't do anything permanent about it. He offers to call the cops, as he's done before many times. I go back inside and notice the gaming volume has massively increased. What a spiteful sucker. I can make out that he's gaming on Xbox from the notification sounds that pop up every now and then. Knowing that I have a potential ally calling the cops, who's already openly in hostility with this guy, I wait for the cops to arrive and find his extremely loud gaming. Coppers basically tell him both to respect the rules of being quiet after 10 and to not be dicks about it. I fight the urge to enter the hallway, openly revealing myself as the asshat neighbor being involved with the cop call, a lesson learned from a previous flat sharing. Fuck 'em without implicating that you're the origin of trouble, as it makes you less of a target and hides that you have motive for possibly gray area stuff. I heed this advice very closely. That would have been the end of it if my stupid neighbor had stuck to the copper's advice. Basically, the second copper's left in their car, and I'm back to experiencing him losing at whatever shitty game he's playing. I immediately complained to my flat owner via phone about how to solve this, and how I'm super unhappy with the noise, and ask what can be done about it. My landlord tells me the flat next door is unfortunately not owned by her, but by someone else named Fritz. The name is obviously changed for the sake of the story, and that therefore she cannot do much about it other than complaining to them. After some digging by checking door labels in post boxes and basement storages, I find out that the colossal dickbag neighbor is living with the daughter of the flat owner, Lady Fritz. Scheisse. I know the landlord kicks tenant out angle is now impossible or very unlikely. However, I have never seen that girl walk in or out of his apartment, or seen her any other way. Also, he plays loud console games till 2 a.m. I'd like to meet a woman that would live with me and let me do that. I doubt they exist. From this, I assume the girl isn't even living with him, or not anymore. That or something shady's going on. I had many nights awake that I could have called the cops, filed complaints, tried to get restraining orders and whatnot, but I literally have no time or knowledge about this stuff, and I asked my landlord to pursue the legal route for me, which was not really yielding anything, as I doubt she did anything. Meanwhile, I spent the occasional sleepless night planning and plotting, as this guy will go down. I take the latest house mail information about chimney cleaning and lift maintenance, and I create a look-alike with Photoshop. That way, it could purposefully look and stay on the legal side, and I replicate a look-alike logo, different header and footer, but same font and font size for the body. Half an hour later, a super nice letter is made detailing how the building we're living in has decided collectively that garbage separation is a scam and therefore no longer a thing that applies to us. In Germany, AFAIK, by law, a requirement to save the environment, so all your organic waste cannot go into the same bin as plastic or paper shit goes. We separate plastic, organics, and paper. Heck, even bottles into white, brown, and green glass. Cue evil grin. I put this notice, folded correctly, in the stupid way our building associates folds in their stuff and puts it into his mailbox. He always keeps his trash bags in front of the door on the hallway until he feels like carrying them down when it's 2 or 3 days later, which also annoyed me. It used to be 2 bags, the classic yellow bag, which we use for plastic trash, and a regular bag for food waste and similar stuff. Now it is just the yellow bag with all the stuff in it. I have my confirmation. That dickbag is an idiot who can't tell legit from fake. Plus, he's in for a fine and citation from the garbage service, as they literally don't take his yellow bags if they can see stuff that doesn't belong in there. The yellow bags are translucent. Google Gilbersek. The citation is just a nice side effect. I have my knowledge now that this guy is not mentally alert enough to properly fact-check stuff. A very bad habit, but very important to know. Got him fined. By now, in midsummer, this guy is smoking a lot and gaming less. And if I have my windows open, all his shit smoke enters my flat and upsets me even more. Boy, this guy is trying hard to annoy me. As soon as I try to communicate with him, all I get's rude curses and insults in his accent that I find kinda hilarious. Definitely not a pretty reply to hi there. I close the window-to-window conversation by thinking to myself, okay, enjoy your cancer. I think since then he tries to smoke more often out the window just to piss me off. Fine by me. I fire up InDesign and set up a new letterhead and logo, this time from a well-known tobacco company. I write up a letter directly addressed to him. Contents are some copy-pasted marketing BS from their website, which then I conclude with a statement of how the company knows he's a person making good decisions and knows what's good. To thank him for this company, it's concluded 2 cigars as a complimentary gift. Ooh, I butchered that sentence. I fix it up in an envelope and use my company's vacuum package sealer thingy to make it like those typical gift letter thingers. I slap an address onto it, and through proper mail, took that extra little bit of authentic mail stamp and handling, which cost me probably all in all £10. Yes, I am trying to unsept this guy. Yes, I am literally trying to give this guy cancer. I have a short temper. I admit I wasn't too successful. I'd hope he'd switch over to 100% smoking cigars, but I couldn't lace the cigars with crack or some other drug to make him addicted. I still know he was buying cigars every now and then and smoking them. As for me, I simply closed my window and that was the end of the problem. Accelerated his cancer. Back to tackling the flat owner problem. Oh boy, the internet's lovely. I know quite a lot of detail about this guy and his girl thanks to LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. That shit would be illegal seeing how easy it is to find out stuff about people. It's scary. I locked my stuff away super quick after this. Finding out someone's email via LinkedIn was also dangerously easy. Now I find out how this guy can live there and play till 2 a.m. The girlfriend isn't living in Germany, but rather studying in Denmark. I assume they visit each other occasionally, or it's really just a house-sitting arrangement. But FB tells me that they're an item, so I rule out the house-sitter theory and align that with any hope that this problem will resolve itself once she comes back. My landlord has given me the phone number of the Fritz flat owner, who I should call if the problem gets out of hand. I did that a few times, and it worked barely 2 times. Bless Skype SMS service. I quickly make a new Skype account, get £5 for Skype credit, and I get ready to text that lady from an Annan account. I don't trust these free SMS websites. I send that poor old lady a text in German saying that I suspect Asshat Guy is having an affair with someone, but I'm unable to reach said daughter directly. Signed with generic German girl's name. The back and forth annoying continues for a while until the end of September when the daughter returns to live in the apartment. Lo and behold, the gaming at 2 a.m. stopped. I'm almost happy. Had I not set my sights to destroying this asshat idiot. I just can't leave that kind of stuff unfinished. That Skype account with credit comes in handy again. I start calling the number that this loud flat had provided in the general neighbor contact sheets. The one number was a landline number, the other was a mobile number, so I had a 50-50 chance of getting the guy or the girl when I called either line. At first, I worried about this, and I decided that it was actually favorable. So I start calling their landline. Seriously, who the F has a landline anymore? At random times a day, once or twice a week. Always when I know the Fritz daughter's home. When she picks up and says her name, I just hang up super quick. Right after that, I call the mobile number, which to my luck turned out was the guy's mobile number. He picks up and I give him the distorted voice and heavy German accent that I assume was good enough to conceal me. Some random trash talk about cigars, pretending that I was a sales rep from the tobacco company. I keep the conversation short and try to ask questions that have him say answers like, yes, sure, and don't worry. Then I try to go for the kicker. I ask him if he'd like to be invited for a tobacco trade festival the next weekend. It would be out about 4 hours drive of town, beginning on a Saturday at 8 p.m., running for the entire Sunday. I was trying to get him to yell out loud, next weekend, sure, or I'll be there. But he didn't. I spun along some crap details to give him more security and a sense of legitimacy in this. He reassured me that he would be there. I asked if XYZ was the name that should be on his reservation for one. Sadly, due to high popularity, he couldn't bring a spouse. It's okay. She doesn't smoke anyway. After saying thanks, we hang up. I wish I could have been a mouse in the wall listening to what Fritz's daughter was asking and saying. Now here, I lose my firm grip on the situation a bit, as I couldn't get 100% exact confirmation that he actually left on a Saturday midday for the distant city. But it wouldn't really matter. He just needed to come back super late or the next day with an excuse that the entire thing didn't exist and was fabricated, which I hope the Fritz daughter figured out as well. I bought some new boxers and wrote my best girly handwriting a note that says, "You forgot that, asshole. Also, why are you still living with that bitch? It's over!" I put both the boxers and the note into their mailbox and hoped that Fritz's daughter would be the one opening it. Now there is a problem. The post doesn't deliver on Saturdays or Sundays here in Germany, so I had to get her to check her post box. I walked over to the Fritz flat and rang the bell. Fritz's daughter opened, and I asked whether she had also gotten the letter about some excuse for misinformation about garbage separation some months ago, and that there is a way to claim damages because of fines that occurred due to misinformation. I couldn't quite figure out who to call about this, and was wondering if she had already done this, mentioning that I was relieved this letter was handed to me today in person. She told me she didn't receive one. Possibly they'll mail it to you then. And I said goodbye and left. I went in my flat and waited for the fruit of my subversive labor to be ready. I didn't confirm that she checked the post box, but I know she did sometime, because the asshat guy came back around 2300. How do I know? The walls are thin, and a pissed-off girlfriend can be super loud and very expressive in her language. I couldn't make out too many details, but I'd like to think that my plan worked out perfectly well. as she'd kicked him out right then and there, which again could be heard very loudly from the hallway. Got him kicked out, got his girlfriend to dump him, he left with his dog, which is a shame, as it was always my goal to make him lose ownership of that dog as well, but I guess I can't be too cruel. If I wasn't already seeing someone else, I probably would have started courting Fritz's daughter as a cherry on top, but TLDR, Neighbor is super fucking loud. Make him get fined, make his girlfriend dump him, get him kicked out, and sped up his cancer. GG. Edit. Reddit formatting is hard. This is as good as it gets. Edit 2. Thank you for Reddit Gold. I don't know what to do with this. Does anyone want it? Well, there you have it, folks. The super loud neighbor versus the short-tempered German. If you liked it, be sure to leave a like on this post, as well as make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on. That way you could stay up to date with all future videos here on the channel. As always, my name's Ryan, the voice behind Reddit Voice, the official host here on the channel, and I look forward to seeing you guys in tomorrow's video.